What are the different types of vectors we need to know? Let's see. So, yes. Zero vector. I already mentioned a zero vector. A zero vector is a vector with a zero magnitude and it is called zero vector. Okay, so this implies that in case of zero vector, the initial point as well as the terminal point both are going to be same. So it may not have a magnitude, but it will still have a direction in an arbitrary direction. It is called zero vector. Okay, so usually zero vector is represented by, so what we can do is same letter we can use for the ending and the beginning. So that is A, see, B, B, P, P, or O, O. Like this we indicate. So that is called zero vector. And what is a unit vector? A vector whose magnitude is unit length. That means it may be 1 unit, 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter based on the unit. Okay, such a vector is called unit vector. Co-initial vectors. So there are vectors which may start from the same initial point but may end with a different terminal points. Such vectors are called co-initial vectors. Collinear vectors. What do you mean by collinear vectors? Collinear lines we know, right? The lines which are on the same point are collinear lines, right? In case of a collinear vectors, when two or more vectors are parallel to each other. So here they are not on the same line, but we say they are parallel to each other. So parallel to each other means angle between them is 0. We'll come to this later. So right now collinear vectors means the vectors, with two or more vectors are said to be collinear if they're parallel to each other. Okay, so in a space can also be parallel to each other, right? So it depends upon which plane we are looking at. It may be on the same plane, so it right. So that's why it's called collinear vector. What are equal vectors? Two or more vectors which have same magnitude but in different directions are called equal vectors. Two vectors A and B are said to be equal vectors when they have same magnitude and the direction irrespective of the positions. Okay, not just magnitude, even the direction has to be equal. Okay, irrespective of the position. For example, there is a vector here, OP. Its length of OP, and let me take another vector. Okay, so let me erase this. So another vector somewhere with the same direction, it has to be same direction. O, maybe RS. Okay, so this let it be A and let this be B. So what I know is magnitude of OP is equal to magnitude of RS. Okay. Also, the direction of OP should be equal to direction of RS. Then such a vector are called equal vectors. That means if two vectors are equal, what are the two things we need to know? Their magnitude should be equal as well as their direction should be equal. Okay, then only we can call them as equal vectors. Suppose if I take OP, okay, A, and now PRS is in the opposite direction, exactly parallel to this, but in the opposite direction. Then what happens is, then the magnitude of OP still is equal to magnitude of RS, whereas direction of OP is exactly opposite direction of RS. Then B becomes negative of A. Okay, so that's called negative vector. Negative vector of any vector is nothing but a vector with the same magnitude but in the opposite direction. Okay, such a vector is called negative vector.